Welcome to 5 Minute Monster, where I help you find the perfect enemies to put in your campaign, all in 5 minutes or less. I'll give you a brief overview of a creature, some tips for running it in combat, and adventure hooks to help you find a place for it in your own games. Today, we're looking at one of the most iconic and dangerous monsters in all of D&D, the Lich. Let's get started. When a powerful wizard decides to cheat death and live forever, that road will often lead them to the path of lichdom. Liches are powerful spellcasters that feed on life, extending their own longevity by locking their soul away in a vessel known as a phylactery. With a challenge rating of 20, Liches are one of the strongest enemies in the game, and they have the powers to back it up. Legendary actions, top-tier spells, and a touch that can cause even the strongest adventurers to be paralyzed where they stand. Liches are iconic for a reason, and if you add one to your game, your party better be prepared for a fight. Liches are spellcasters, so they don't have the best defenses. An AC of 17 and 135 hit points won't last long against a high-level party. You'll need to set it up for success. Having it in its lair will give it access to powerful abilities that help it replenish spell slots, attack the party, and even split the damage it's taking with one of your players. And don't forget about its legendary resistances. 3 times per day, it can choose to succeed on a saving throw that it fails. Without those resistances, enemy spellcasters could have a field day harassing your Lich. Speaking of enemy spellcasters, Liches rely heavily on their spells to deal damage, including Power Word Kill, which instantly takes a party member that's under 100 HP and sends them to the Shadow Realm. But that means if your party has a player or two with Counterspell, they could end up shutting down your Lich's spells completely, making this a much easier fight. Your Lich's reaction will be a lot more important than it is for other monsters. Choosing between an opportunity attack with its paralyzing touch, casting shield to deflect a blow, or using the Lich's own counterspell to foil a counterspelling player are all viable options. Make sure you weigh all those choices before reacting. Getting around the battlefield isn't a strong point of the Lich either. It only has 30 feet of walking speed and access to Dimension Door, which is a full action. Consider giving the Lich Misty Step instead, which would let it use Paralyzing Touch as an action, then teleport and run out of reach of anyone who gets too close. And if you do use Dimension Door, make sure it's worth it. That Lich better be teleporting somewhere it's near untouchable. Lastly, when prepping to run a Lich, knowing the spells it has and what they do will be vital to running a smooth and fun combat session. Consider writing down a brief description of each spell in your notes and having a way to track how many spell slots the Lich has used. Or you can tab the pages in the player's handbook where each spell is listed and have them pulled up on a web page if you play online. Either option works. Liches are one of the quintessential big bads of D&D, unleashing hordes of undead on entire nations or haunting ancient ruins from which to plot their evil desires. If a Lich is going to be your big bad, make sure you've planned the campaign to get it into the higher levels, at least double digits. But Liches are incredibly smart, with an intelligence of 20, so you can have them mastermind all sorts of sinister plots and plans across an entire campaign. If you're not looking to make your whole campaign revolve around a Lich, you can still have them play a big role. Most campaigns involve finding ancient artifacts or uncovering secret knowledge, both of which would be found in a Lich's lair. An old wizard tower full of magical traps and experiments gone wrong. The ancient ruins of a library where the Lich spends hours poring over bygone texts. A mausoleum where the Lich secretly plots the downfall of the city's elite. All of these are excellent places for a Lich to be hiding, and where you can send your players to snag the loot that evil spellcaster is hoarding. As a final note, if adding a Lich to your campaign, don't forget about its phylactery. If a Lich's corporeal form is destroyed, it'll respawn from its phylactery after a D10 amount of days, meaning that to truly destroy it, your players will need that vessel. Searching for clues and hints to where the Lich has stashed it could be a campaign of its own. Or, if you're looking for roleplay, having them bargain with a Lich whose phylactery they've already found for information or goods can be a great chance to let them interact with one of D&D's most recognizable monsters. That's it for this 5-minute monster all about Liches. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you were able to take some information or inspiration from it. If you do end up using a Lich in your game, I'd love to hear how it goes in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like or subscribing to the Bard's College. I make content all about D&D and DMing, so if you enjoyed it, definitely stick around. But for now, good luck, and remember, crit your players.